I've always loved her, and I always will love her.
He wanted to change me into something he wanted me to be, not what I am.
Joe, and a most conditional love.
I loved her so much.
He wanted me to listen to certain kinds of music, didn't approve of mine.
She loved me.
He said I should read the paper every day.
And then she became so cold and mean.
Have you ever heard the words anally retentive?
Both Melissa and Paul claim they suffered emotionally in their relationship. At the heart of their suffering, a disagreement over how to deal with an unexpected pregnancy. Now, both want to be compensated for what they went through. That's today on Judge Joe Brown.
He's a real judge. In his courtroom, everyone has the right to a fair trial. But if they're proven wrong, he has the right to make them pay. Judge Joe Brown.
Paul Precopia is a 40-year-old business owner from Beloit, Wisconsin. He is suing his ex-girlfriend, 29-year-old sales representative Melissa Paul, for loans and pain and suffering. Melissa is countersuing for emotional distress and the return of her property. Now, here's Judge Joe Brown.
You want to sue the defendant, who is apparently your former girlfriend or lover, for past due rent, a tire loan, a Valentine's Day loan, and for pain and suffering due to an abortion. And you, ma'am, are counterclaiming, asserting that the plaintiff harassed you, that the items that he's talking about actually were gifts. You wish the return of your books. You want to get compensated for the emotional distress he has caused you as a result of the harassment, and for 1/2 the cost of the abortion. Is that correct? What kind of relationship did you two have, and for how long?
Most important thing here is I care about her. I've always loved her, and I always will love her.
All right, but how long
okay,
were you
We
two
were
involved?
6 months.
Now, how did your claim arise?
Essentially, one of the most important things is dealing with the emotional aspects, and I'm mainly concerned with getting the
Well, let's
loss.
put some logical order to
Okay.
it. Okay, before you two break up, you
During August-
apparently say there were some loans given to her. What
Right.
are these about?
First off, I was on disability, but I'd loved her so much. We were dating, and I had been real concerned. I'm that kind of person. I really want to be deeply involved with someone. I'd waited 5 years to get involved with someone, and had basically used the first 5 years since my last divorce just to be with my son, and then I decided to get involved in a relationship. I really put a lot of effort into it, and it was real important to me, and I explained several times how much I loved and cared her, and made sure that she felt the same way.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
How is it that you say, I'm going to wait 5 years before I get emotionally involved, and then you say, okay, now I'm ready to get involved, and then I get involved?
Well, what happened was, it's like love at first sight kind of thing. I had no intentions of getting that heavily involved, believe me. And then I met her, saw her in the park, and I just thought she was so special and so beautiful. And as I talked with her, one of the things we talked about was that she had recently gotten off a divorce, and that she wanted someone who was really sensitive and caring. And within a short time, I said, I have really strong feelings for you. I said, am I crazy? Please tell me if, moving too fast. Just let me know that. Because I said, I don't want to go through the pain of hurt, of being involved with someone, have them say, get lost. Because I said, the feelings I have for you, I could never tell you to get lost under any circumstances. And she said she felt the same way. She clearly said, and I'm very communicative, I demand to know the answers to these things. And I said, look, I said, if
demand?
Yeah, I demand. I want to know that if I'm caring this much for someone, that, am I out of place or not? Am I asking too much? Do you love me this much?
That's a little unusual.
I know.
In terms of the way you put it. You demand of them that they give you a response to this.
It's kind of natural. You're looking at someone saying, look, I'm really feeling strongly for you. Do you really feel this way toward me? I'm just using the example that I was firm, that I didn't want to just hear, well, no, I like you too.
Okay, you were firm in demanding an answer to that question.
That I wanted the truth, if there was the same depth.
What answer did you give him, if any?
I don't really, honestly, I don't remember.
Did you like him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the person where if I go out with somebody or somebody approaches me, I go with the flow, I just take it at each day, see how it goes, and because you can never predict, yeah, this is going to work out.
Okay, now, what is the first loan you say you make to her?
I just, been caring about her. I noticed her car, just like you notice someone's car, and I looked at it and I saw that her tires, in the rear, I believe they were practically balding. And I was real concerned about that. And I said, we got to do something about that. You got to get some tires. And she, at the time, was barely making it financially. And she said, there's no way I can get tires right now. There's just no way. And I said, winter's coming. You've got to get new tires. I can't have you, it's not okay.
You demanded.
And, well, not like, you get them or I don't love you. I mean, first of all, I wouldn't still been seeing her if she didn't answer back and look me in the eyes and say, Paul, I've never felt this way about a man either. I really think I want a long-term relationship with you.
So what ultimately comes out of
So ultimately, I called all around trying to find her a good buy. You know, I'll help you, I'll give you the money, and I'll lend you the money. I did not say give. I don't have that money, I have that kind of money, but I was worried about her, and she said she couldn't get them.
Now, do you take that as a loan, or is that a gift?
At the time, I did tell him I would pay him back when I could, but I didn't know how long it would be.
So how much did that come to?
$134, sir.
$134. What's the next loan you said?
And then she said her rent was coming up, and she did not have enough money. And her procedure normally was to go down to one of those they're called cash stores. You borrow money against your future paycheck, and then he charged like 20% interest on that. I didn't want her doing that.
You became concerned about that, so what did you do?
So at first I lent her at least $100 cash for rent to help her pay the rent.
You're claiming $200.
So I actually total, I went through the figures, it was $100, and then another time, a total she needed, this one other time, was $165, specifically so she wouldn't get any return checks. So I gave her $165 cash, we drove to her bank where she deposited it.
Now, what about this Valentine's Day loan?
Well, one of the things I talked about up front several times with her, because I'm kind of ashamed of this, but I had no choice because I've been on disability and I'm paying child support, was I talked to her that I said, you know, one of the things I like to do is that we would take turns. I said, I don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of money, I just can't pay for dates. What I think is a neat thing to do is that I'd take you out and then, you know, we'll go and I'll pay for the theater, you pay for dinner. Or the next date you pay for it and I'll get this one. You know, we help work together as a team.
Okay, just tell me what we have here.
But what happened was Valentine's Day is that I said that was our special time. She said it was real important to her. We had talked about when she didn't have a lot of money. I said, I want to really do something special.
Let me hazard a guess. You loaned her the money to take you out for Valentine's Day?
I planned the whole trip. I planned the whole trip. Okay.
It was a trip.
For Valentine's Day, right.
Okay, now what was the loan for?
It wasn't a loan, sir. What had happened was, part of the because we're having Valentine's Day together. It was our day, right?
Okay,
our day. And then she said, I can put it, I said, can you put in 30 or 40? And she said, yes. She goes, that's all I can do. You have to take care of the rest. I said, if you can put in 30 or 40, I can give us a great day. I can pay for the rest.
So she's supposed to put up $40?
Right.
Well, does she?
She did not, no.
So you're saying she owes you $40 because she said she'd cover that much of the date?
Right.
On Valentine's Day. Now, let me hear from you, ma'am. So far, $134 on the tires. You said you'd pay him back on that. $100 cash for rent, so you wouldn't have to go to the cash advance place. You acknowledge that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. $165 to cover some checks that you wrote. Is that right?
I don't remember the exact amount. It was a while back. It's hard to remember.
Now, what about this $40 share of the Valentine's Day date?
Okay.
You have to understand, it sounds funny, Your Honor, but we were together, and neither of us had a lot of money, and I wanted to make it a big date. I mean, as you said, you get gifts for each other. She couldn't give me a gift.
I heard you. I heard you. I don't want your every thought on the thing.
We'll be back with more of Judge Joe Brown after this.
Being with me meant that I couldn't stand for an abortion, and she had promised me she'd never do something like that in our relationship.
Well, she changed her mind, and she decided she did not want another child, and maybe not with you for a number of reasons.